Experiences now are so driven by the social media presence. People want to do them more than anything. That's why, again, I'm booked out till January, but we have bookings into 2022, 2023, because people just know that this is something that's special. People have these demographics, right? Again, you're a craft beer lover. Oh, I would love to bring the brewery home for my husband. My wife loves the vineyards. I would love to bring that directly to her, and again, we have a blast.
Welcome to the Mitlin Money Mindset Show. This is a podcast about the financial, money, and recreational mindset needed to successfully plan for and live your best life before and through retirement. Let's dive into today's show. I'm Larry Sprung, your host for the Mitlin Money Mindset Show and founder and wealth advisor of Mitlin Financial. Today's guest, Thomas Francis, is the owner of Long Island Airstream Experience. Thomas and his company are committed to bringing great experiences to you. In 2016, he started with the Long Island Cigar and Bourbon Experience and then grew rapidly and added the Long Island Wine and Cheese Experience and Long Island Beer and Burger Experience too. Not only does he bring the food and drink, but he also brings the servers, bartenders, cooks, everybody that's needed, and he also brings the fun too. I learned about this company online and needed to know more. Well, hello everybody. I'm here, Larry Sprung, with Thomas Francis from the Long Island Airstream Experience, and I am really excited for this show. Thanks for joining us, Thomas.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming. You have created a great business that provides unbelievable experiences for people. Can you tell us a little bit about your path to this business? What's your background?
Sure. So I have about a decade in the hospitality, cigar, and spirits industries. And I've always loved cultivating these experiences where we would come in and just wow people. So from big corporate events and trade shows to smaller things like weddings and personal parties, I've always really enjoyed that. So back in 2016, I went to a friend's wedding where he asked me, because I had so much knowledge on this stuff, to come in and set up a table where I would put cigars and spirits. And I wound up halfway through when I set it up and left it there. I came back and, people were just kind of gathering around it. And I just kind of hopped in and just started pairing them up. Oh, this works. This is a great stick to have with this spirit. Let me cut it and light it for you. Come on out. I'll pour. I'll give you some of the tasting notes. I had a blast.
It was a working wedding.
It really did. It devolved into a working wedding. But from that stage, I'm like, man, I really enjoy this. So I decided to then create a small wedding business. And that's where I created Long Island Cuban Cigar and Bourbon Experience, where I would come in and we would have the wedding table and again, pairing them up and talking to the guests, a real interactive experience.
Right.
And I really, really enjoyed that. And that was the very beginning of that business. But as I did these weddings, there would be some instances where it would rain outside and nobody could go outside and have a cigar. I said, shoot, I have to come up with something that no matter what, we can smoke inside of and be inside in case the weather is not so great.
Right.
And that's where I came up with the idea of having a mobile cigar and spirit lounge. My love of Airstreams kind of piloted that to where it is today.
That's awesome. So you basically have incorporated these experiences into an Airstream. I mean, did you have any type of culinary background or anything before this?
None. I'm not real handy as well. Thank goodness for YouTube. So again, as I was getting into, the actual cigar and bourbon piece, it was a lot of YouTube, a lot of reading, and just a lot of trial and error. I've made plenty of mistakes, and that's what's great. That you just dive into it and you learn. And then I was began doing the other experiences with wine and cheese and the beer and burger. Again, I had so much knowledge and information that now they were seamless as I was building them.
Right. So the company is Long Island Airstream Experience, but you have 3 different experiences kind of under that umbrella right now.
Bingo.
And I think you hit on each one of them, but just so we could put it all together, what are those 3 experiences? How do they work? And if somebody was interested, just give them like a 500-foot view of what each of them are.
So now the parent company that I have created is called the Long Island Airstream Experience, and it's got several arms. It's got Long Island Cuban Cigar and Bourbon Experience, Long Island Wine and Cheese Experience, and Long Island Beer and Burger Experience. Down the road, I'm doing a taco and tequila one. That'll come out next year. And also, I'm going to have Airstreams that you can either camp in or you can rent for corporate or event use. So again, like say you wanted to have the Mitlin Money Mindset podcast on the road. We could then give you an Airstream. We could wrap it with all your logos and we could put some furniture in it and you could go on the road and do a podcast with it. So things like that, of that nature. But the current 3 experiences, I have an actual cigar and bourbon trailer. So you come inside, you can smoke. We have 125 different spirits on board. I mean, it rivals I mean, some of the high-end New York City bars that are out there. It has a TV inside and outside, so we can put on any game for you. It's an absolute blast. And that's my original passion.
Right.
And I still love that today. And then I decided to create an actual vineyard experience. It's tough getting out east and there's so many things to do and you want to have a great time, but obviously you're involving drinking and everything else. So you're going to have to cool it a little.
Sure.
Now we can bring the vineyard right to you. 12 different Long Island vineyards inside the trailer. We bring cheese platters in there. We paint wine glasses outside. We bake them on site. That Airstream is a blast. And then my latest one, the beer and burger. Again, same thing, bringing that brewery experience right to your front door. We cook up fresh, ready-made burgers with toppings and again, a whole blast with the furniture, tailgate games, and 5 TVs. Anything you want to put on, we can put on for you.
That's unbelievable. I'm a big beer and a bourbon, so both of those are very appealing to me. I'm not a wine guy, but I do love cheese, so I could find a place in
Who doesn't, right? I mean,
each one of these things.
Exactly.
So what made you come up with these 3 in particular to start out with? What was the impetus there?
I'm a lazy guy. I don't like having to get ready, go out somewhere, then go to having a party at the house. Then I got to buy everything. I got to clean up. I got to cook. I don't get to enjoy my party. I really like being in the moment when I'm doing those things. So as I was doing the wedding business, I thought, man, I have this cool idea, but how do I want to cultivate it? What route do I want to go? And it really became 2 ways, right? The at-home party experience for adults is non-existent. Yeah, you can hire a caterer, you can get a tent, you can do those types of things, but there's really nothing geared towards adults.
Right.
To have fun at home and really throw a great party that's memorable, that you have to do nothing with. And at the end of the day, you can wipe your hands and just walk into your house and really enjoy alcohol.
Right.
It's a great idea so you can have great, safe fun with alcohol, walk in the house, have a memorable party, and it's just a blast. This is kind of where I've geared this company towards.
Right. And why the 3 that you picked, the cigar and bourbon, wine and cheese, and the beer and burger? Why those over the tequila and tacos to start?
I have a personal love for an actual cigar and a bourbon. That to me is my zen. It's my moment of tranquility. I'm really passionate about that. And I have a ton of knowledge, right? So what better way to start with what you know?
Absolutely.
And then I've sort of flipped it to, again, a themed experience. Listen, cigars and bourbon are great, but there's not many women walking around smoking a cigar and drinking bourbon. So I wanted to then flip it to something that would be geared more towards the actual female crowd. And then I've kind of flipped back more to the guys. And now I think with the taco and tequila experience, I'm headed that way again. So I kind of flip-flop each one. But really, I'm saving the best for last. Taco and tequila is going to be outrageous.
Okay.
It's going to be outrageous. It's going to be my best work.
Coming soon. We're looking forward to it.
April 2021. I'm putting a date on it to put the pressure on.
So has anybody gotten and ordered 2 experiences so they could have one for the guys and one for the gals, so to speak?
You're absolutely right. I do a lot of double trailer experiences where right now I'm bringing in the cigar and bourbon and the wine and cheese, but I think going forward, you'll see a lot of beer and burger and taco and tequila, or wine and cheese and beer and burger. It's a home run every time we do one of these. And I usually do about a dozen or so a year. They're home runs. There's nothing like this that exists in the world, period, stop. It leaves such a lasting memory. It's incredible.
Listen, I saw it online for the first time and I was like, what a great idea. And that's what made me reach out to you because I thought it was a great experience. I thought the pairings were really good, made a lot of sense. I saw the craft beer one announcement and I'm a beer guy, love good craft beer. And who doesn't love a burger from time to time? And they go great together. So I thought it was a home run. I didn't even know at the time about the other 2 experiences and it makes a lot of sense in this day and age.
Thank you. Yeah. It really is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So who do you see typically looking at these experiences? Are they more corporate driven, individual driven, equally between the 2? I mean, is there a bigger demand from one side than the other?
It varies. I mean, that's sort of the beautiful thing with all of these pieces. They fit into a whole wide array of a whole different type of an actual event. We do a ton of corporate events. I do a ton of birthdays. I've done a 2-year-old's birthday party just because they wanted to have something for fun for the adults to do. Again, I do fairs and festivals. Well, we used to do fairs and festivals. Actual tailgate events. It fits into any weddings. I mean, it really is dispersed. But now in this era, more than anything, it's been all at-home parties, which is, again, it's sort of where I wanted to be in the beginning. This is what I thought of where I wanted to be when I had the onset of the company.
Right. It gives, I guess, like you said, very little preparation by the homeowner. You come in, you supply everything, you leave with everything, and it just leaves them with a good time and possibly a couple guests that have to figure out how they're going to get home. But outside of that, everything is safe and confined.
Without a doubt. And if you got a driveway, we can take care of you. So
yeah.
Even if you don't, we can put it right on the street.
And Uber's helped you out because then they can get everybody home.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And there's no better feeling as a homeowner, just again, wiping your hands and walking into your house. It really is great.
Right. So how does it work cost-wise? Is it by experience or is it one price really for all of it? How does it work so the listeners know and if they're interested?
The base model of all the packages, we've kind of found the sweet spot of doing this. It really is. It's a 3-hour package for each of them. And it's up to 25 people. So it doesn't matter if you have 5, 10, or 15, or 25 folks. You're covered up into 25 heads. And then after that, it's just an at-head price that we can do as you move forward past 25. We used to be able to handle up to 200 people. Again, right now, still participating with the New York State guidelines. We're handling up to 50 people. But as that increases, we can obviously take you from there. Yeah, so for the cigar and bourbon, everyone gets 2 cigars. We do unlimited bourbon. You get the cigar tender in there who cuts and lights cigars, pours drinks, takes care of cleanup, everything in there. That guy is $16.99. That's $1,700. The wine and cheese, again, you get unlimited wine. We have 12 different Long Island vineyards inside the trailer. Again, we come with 2 large cheese platters, one for red, one for white. Everyone gets to paint a wine glass. So we have dozens of paints, hundreds of stencils, and then we bake the wine glasses on site for you. So again, a nice cool memento from whatever event you're having. Same thing, blue carpet patio experience, the tailgate games, everything. That guy's $17.99. And then the beer and burger one, unlimited beer. 8 different Long Island craft beers all on tap, and we change that seasonally as we go as well. Craft artisan burgers that we cook fresh on the spot for you, 12 different toppings. The Navy carpet patio experience, again, the furniture, the tailgate games, everything all in, that's $21.99. And then taco and tequila next year.
Wow. You mentioned the beer seasonally, that gets changed. Bourbon stay predominantly the same. Cheese and wine stays predominantly the same.
Yeah, the wine will switch up just twice a year. So as we get into the fall winter season, we'll change. We'll go heavier on the reds. When we get back into the spring summer season, we'll go heavier on the whites and the rosés. Yeah, beer changes, but bourbon pretty much stays the same. Unless there's some new releases that come out, we'll add those into the menu. And I would like to get to 200 spirits at least sometime in the next coming years.
Wow. And they're not all bourbons. They're wide variety, wide selection.
I would say about 75% bourbon, but then we have scotches. I mean, we carry up to a 30 and a 40-year-old scotch on there. We have all types of different tequilas, Irish whiskeys, rums, and then we cultivate all this from all around the world.
That is unbelievable. And personally, I believe more than ever, people are willing to pay for great experiences. The days of people buying stuff, I find, is kind of going at the wayside. People used to buy a lot more stuff, and I find that people are more inclined to pay for great experiences. I mean, are you seeing that as well? And has your business benefited from that phenomenon?
You're 100% right. Not only has it gone by the wayside, it's non-existent. The stuff these days, it's what I call, it's not social media applicable. People want to, when they go online, they want to see you doing something that's fun, that's different, and exciting. And that's sort of where this comes in. When people see this, it's really a wow moment. And when people see it online, someone posted up about the party they just went to, people go bananas and go, what is that? I need to know more. I need to do that for my significant other, for someone they love, whoever it is. Experiences now are so driven by the social media presence. People want to do them more than anything. That's why, again, I'm booked now. I'm basically booked out till January, but we have bookings into 2022, 2023, because people just know that this is something that's special. People have these demographics, right? Again, you're a craft beer lover.
Sure.
Oh, I would love to bring the brewery home for my husband. My wife loves the vineyards. I would love to bring that directly to her, and again, we have a blast.
Right. FOMO, right? Fear of missing out plays very well into this whole thing, because I would imagine people have a great experience. Photos are going up everywhere. They're almost doing the advertising for you, I would imagine.
Without a doubt. It's everything. Again, I always laugh. I don't advertise. I haven't spent, still to this day, $1 on any advertising whatsoever. I think if you have a great product, a great idea, and are able to tell the story around it, you have a home run every time. And that's sort of what I talk to people when I do a ton of media, a ton of podcasts. I do a ton of interviews where I tell people, learn to tell a story about what you have in a way that is social media representable, and you'll have no issue ever.
That's a great point. I mean, I would imagine with regard to the pandemic, we were talking about it a little bit before we got on the show. The pandemic, to some degree, we've heard that it's hurt a lot of businesses, and we hear how A lot of restaurants have had issues because they were closed for a while. They have capacity issues now because they can't go full. Hopefully by time this airs, maybe that's starting to change a little bit. But my assumption is that's had a positive impact on a business like yours. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So for me, I always have two rules, right? Anything I make, I am automatically taking 20% aside every single time, no matter what it is. Because things like this you have to be able to weather these things. So I always had a rule when I started, and always, as I worked, I took always 20% of what I had and I put it aside no matter what I did. Just in case of what happens if I get hurt,
right,
or get sick, or et cetera. I need to be able to weather that storm for several months.
A good emergency fund never hurt anybody.
No. And that's what got me through the March through June area was, again, I had money put aside and it was okay. But also it was a lot of, I understand now where this is going to go, because as people were going to be able to come out in droves again. And it was then right at the epitome of when we were at our lowest, when I sat here and said, man, I don't know if this is going to be able to restart again. I built Beer and Burger. In the middle of a pandemic, when everything was going south, I decided to build that just because I knew that this was going to work out in this environment, because it was going to explode back and people were going to want to do these at-home things, be safe, not go out, bring the experience to them. And that's exactly what happened. Once the stage 4 stuff got announced, I was 7 days a week,
right?
Especially with the wine thing, because the vineyards never opened back up.
Right.
And people who take the buses out there had tours, big parties. All that was canceled.
Evaporated.
Now I was getting the phone calls to, hey, you can bring the vineyard to my house? Fantastic. The wine and cheese just went bananas.
I'm involved with my university alumni, right? And we put together events for local Long Island alumni. This is 100% true story. Before the pandemic, we were working on trying, myself and a couple other folks are really craft beer people.
Sure.
And we wanted to really do like a craft beer tour. And we couldn't figure out a way that we could do it cost effectively, safely, and get it done in a way where we didn't have to worry about people getting home and whatnot. And we had a very difficult time mapping it out without having people taking a half a day or a full day. And seeing this is a very easily adaptable and implementable idea that can be used virtually by anybody. I mean, it's amazing. And like you said, I think the pandemic has hurt certain things,
Sure.
But at the same time, there's been a lot of good, a lot of creation that's come from it. It's been a shift in people's thought processes a little bit, because things that we used to think about and do aren't necessarily we're able to do. But certainly people like you have benefited because you are adapting to what's going on out there. And I think that's one of the most important and key takeaways for any business owner. You have to be able to adapt, grow, or be prepared to die. I mean, it's really the most important thing.
You're spot on. I always like to think I've been sort of innovative as I've done this process, right? Everything I've done with the actual experiences I've thought out. But this really proved who was innovative in any space going forward. Everything has changed. So for us, I mean, yeah, we were already doing what we did, but we changed things like, again, having more open space, pushing things aside, again, more experiences that were, again, instead of bringing in Jenga for the tailgate games, we brought in Can Jam. So again, people are spaced out.
Right.
But everything was rethought to make sure that people are having a great experience at home, they're being safe at home, but really doubling down, because this is where the market now, if you can come up with, again, a way to appease people at home, take care of them in their home, whatever the service, whatever the industry is,
Sure.
Without a doubt, people are just going to now, again, people have grown accustomed to the time they spent at home. So obviously, again, the Amazons of the world, the Uber Eats of the world, they're doing great.
Right.
But I mean, of the other industries, how are you going to service people when, again, now not necessarily they don't want to come out anymore?
Right.
I think that's going to be the real next challenge in any industry. How do you take care of the people who don't want to leave their house?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in our business at Mitlin Financial. We've adapted technology, and we've seen people who ordinarily like to come in, now that they realize that they're comfortable not coming in, we had to adapt to the remote meeting. And just like you said, businesses are going to have to do that. Had you ever put any thought, obviously not now, but at the beginning of when you were starting this out, was having a brick and mortar location even a thought in your mind, or no?
So
luckily it went away.
As long as I've been involved in the industry, like, again, the thought process, man, I would love to have a cigar lounge. I've loved that atmosphere. when you walk in, doesn't matter who you are, what political affiliation, whatever ideas you have, when you sit in that chair, again, it's just this camaraderie that exists in there. And I've always loved that so much. But in this atmosphere, there's no chance. And I don't think even there's a chance going forward. We've sort of proven out that, again, now the market has shifted.
Right.
It really has shifted. And there's a whole another litany of lists with, New York State, taxing regulations that we won't get into.
Well, maybe the pandemic prevented you or stopped you from having an issue, because so many times you hear places that are doing well in these bring it to you, and then they open up the brick and mortar and it's not as successful. So it might have just prevented you from having another hiccup as a business owner, which we all go through.
I've had plenty of hiccups.
Everybody does.
Plenty of hiccups.
You can't call them hiccups. You can't call them bad events. You just have to call them learning experiences.
Without a doubt.
You got to hit them, learn. Yeah. Well,
learned a lot.
Business is an education within itself, right?
Without a doubt.
Without an MBA.
Without a doubt.
So listen, Thomas, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We end every show with the same question, and we're going to do the same thing here. What did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success?
So this shirt. So I am a pretty wild personality. I like living life big. I really do. And then just not in big in terms of I'm not a wealthy guy, but I like being a force that if people meet me and people get a chance to talk to me and we get to hang out, that I leave them with just that extra energy. I'm always stressed. So if you're I'm a huge Sandlot guy. I'm a big 80s kid. Okay. Everything 80s. All day long. So again, I'm rocking the Sandlot shirt. I'm rocking the.
I didn't realize it was a Sandlot shirt, but now I do.
I'm rocking the Sandlot shirt. It's this green flashy shirt, and the minute I put it on, you can't help but smile.
All right,
you can't help but smile. I mean, listen, on the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday combined, I sleep maybe 6 hours. Come Monday, I need something to give me some pep, man. So I'm rocking the Roosevelt Sandlot shirt. Get yourself one.
Well, awesome. Thanks, Thomas. And if people have an interest in getting involved or hiring one of the Long Island Airstream Experiences, where do they go to find out more information?
Sure. So you can find us all over social media, again, starting with the Long Island Airstream Experience on Facebook and Instagram. And then you can find all my sub-companies on the gram, on the book as well. Again, Long Island Airstream Experience, Long Island Cuban Cigar and Bourbon Experience, Long Island Wine and Cheese Experience, Long Island Beer and Burger Experience. Lots of other cool stuff coming, so definitely check us out there. Obviously, again, you can hit us online, the Long Island Airstream Experience.com. Give us a call, 844-542-4427. That's my OG number. That's the 844-LI Cigar.
There you go. And we'll have all of it in the show notes so people will be able to find you. And thanks again for coming and spending some time with us. And remember, make it a great day.
I appreciate you, brother.
I want to thank Thomas Francis for being a guest on the Mitlin Money Mindset Show. Thomas has taken advantage of people wanting to purchase great experiences rather than stuff and turned it into an excellent business. His team will bring everything needed for you and your guests to have a great time while remaining safe. You can find out more about Long Island Airstream Experiences on their website, tliae.com, or looking for them on all social media platforms. Thank you for joining us this week on the Mitlin Money Mindset. Make sure you visit our website at mitlinfinancial.com and be sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss a show. We encourage you to help others find our valuable content. And listen, please, don't keep us a secret. You can also schedule an Is There a Fit call right from our website or by using the link that you'll find in the description section of your podcast player or app. Be sure to join us for our next episode to learn more about the mindset needed to successfully plan for and live your best life before and through retirement.
The opinions voiced in the Mitlin Money Mindset Show with Lawrence Sprung are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy ensures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Guests on the Mitlin Money Mindset Show are not affiliated with CWM LLC.